Hello, everybody. Wow, I'm so excited by all the people who are watching these. Who the heck knew that me blabbering on forever would even be entertaining to anybody other than myself? So thank you. So today's reflection post, I actually ended up posting it a little bit late because yesterday was the summer solstice. And that is something that I celebrate. It's one of the secular holidays that I celebrate. We had a yard full of 16 hikers that are through hiking the Appalachian Trail. It was a great night. We had a bonfire. We had a feast. One of the hikers that's here is doing the ECT, which is the East Coast Trail, which is Florida to Canada. And he had stayed with us in Damascus when we were down for trail days. So he's Clan Buchanan, and I have some Clan Buchanan in me as well. So I told him when he got to Palmerton that I would make him haggis and other Scottish foods. And so he showed up in the yard last night too. So very exciting. So we had haggis and we had Yorkshire pudding and, all the little favorites of the things that I like to eat. So awesome day. But that meant that I was late writing my blog post, and now I'm late putting together this video. So the video is about how to raise your vibrations. And when I first heard that, I thought it was absolute nonsense. I'm skeptical. I'm a skeptic. So whenever I see, some of this stuff that gets sold, or some of these, there's so many, I don't know, people, organizations, stuff like that out there selling contentment and peace, for a price. And I don't buy in any of that. So, I thought it was just a catchphrase, one of the many, catchphrases, like, not that I don't think you should align your chakras. I do, but a lot of people make money off that concept. They'll help you when you can actually do that yourself. So anyway, but I thought, I'm trying to be open-minded, so I'm going to research it and learn what it is. And honest to Pete, it's actually true. And it's actually something we already know. We already know that negative energy brings us down. When I was younger and I worked in youth ministry, one of the things I would always tell the teenagers is that, like, think about a table. Like, if you sit on a table and somebody else lies on the ground, is it easier to pull the person up to the table, or is it easier to pull the person down from the table? So negative energy is always trying to pull you down. So you want to stay up high on the table and try to be around other people who are sitting up on tables, and try to minimize the stuff that's down low that will pull you down. So, there's all kinds of techniques and tricks and things like that. And I've just picked my 5 that I'm working on. And I want to say that I have not perfected any one of these. But they're the things that I strive for. And the number one thing that you can do to raise your energy and raise your positivity and raise your vibration. By the way, it's also scientific. So I linked a scientific magazine too, just because the science of vibration, Einstein did work with it. So this isn't just like inspirational mumbo jumbo. This is actually physical, real things. So didn't want to forget to say that. So the number one thing that you can do to raise your vibration level and to raise your positivity and be able to express, receive and express divine love is to let it go. I know, like, I want to break out in song. Thankfully, my boys were older and boys and weren't into Frozen, the movie. And so nobody in this house sings Let It Go. And I've never had to really listen to it unless I've been with other people's children. So we don't sing it. But, really let it go. When I was in grad school, we read a book called Let It Sleep. And, the trick in this tome of a book was to figure out what it is. And so you have to figure out what your it is. What is it you have to let go? And, backpacking metaphor, what are you carrying around in your spiritual backpack that is loading you down? Like, what is it that's holding you down? Is it anger at how you were raised as a child? Is it bitterness over the end of a relationship? Is it frustration because you don't have enough money? Let it go, because if there's nothing you can do to improve the outcome, if there's nothing you can actually really do about it, all it is causing you stress. And you know that. You've heard this before. You know this, right? Right? So just let it go. And try not to take too long to let things go. So, we hold on to these things forever, and we tuck them into Ziploc bags and toss them in our pack. We're like, well, I'm going to get to that later. Well, don't carry it anymore. Like, take it out. Take a night. Look at everything and say, what is it? Write it down, whatever you have to do. Think about it, like, what am I carrying around? So I wrote this example on the blog, but I'll tell you this example. When I was my mom was married previously, and she had two children from her first marriage, and the younger of the two drowned when he was 8, and that was before I was born. So I never met him in this physical world, although I do feel his presence in the spiritual world. But my older brother from her first marriage disowned our family when I was 19. I was in college, and I have no idea why. To this day, I don't have any idea. I don't know if he had a fight with my mother. I don't know. She didn't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Nobody told me. So, he didn't tell me. I didn't know. But I was very close to him growing up. Because he was a lot older than me. I think he's 15 years older than me. So, like, he was like, when you're a little kid, like, somebody who's a teenager is like a god. So, like, I really looked up to him. And to be fair to him, I think he ended up having to, like, raise us a little bit. I think he got stuck watching us. So he's probably rightfully a little bit bitter about that. But whatever. He walked out of her life. And at the time, when you're 19, I was very spirited and nosy and bossy. And, I wanted to fix it for my mom because my mom was heartbroken, and I couldn't understand why anybody would do this. And, and I didn't know, but I was a kid, like I was a kid. And, so I got involved, and I shouldn't have. And, I was 19. What did I know? I was a kid. And then looking back at it over the years, my mom, and I love my mom, God rest her soul, but my mom always sort of pushed me to be the family fixer. And, whenever there was a fight with my dad, like, I had to fix it. Whenever there was a fight with my grandmother, like, I was little, I had to fix it. And whatever was going on with my brother, I had to fix it. And it took me to move away from Pennsylvania to realize that none of that is my business. None of it. Like, whatever decision he made with his wife and about their family, he had reasons for it. I'm not here to judge the wisdom of those reasons. It doesn't matter. It was whatever decision they made. And, I can like it or not, but it's not my business. Right. So, hindsight's always 2020. Had I been like I am today, I would have explained to my mom that it's really not my business. Later on in life, my father remarried, and there was always this constant push to, like, you've got to tell your brother this, and my other brother, and you got to tell your brother that. I'm like, no, they are grown men. They are grown men. And if you want to communicate with my brothers, communicate with my brothers. Like, I'm not the conduit. I am not your intermediary. I am not responsible for that relationship. They are responsible for that relationship. Loved my dad very much. Had a very good relationship with him, but it's not my responsibility to be the healer, the fixer, it's not my job. So, my job is to try to help a path when I can, but also to have the wisdom to know when it's not my business and it's not a path, or, whatever. So, letting it go has probably been one of the most liberating things in my life, letting all of that go. My brothers both are married. My living brothers are both married. They have, they're grown men. They know how to make decisions. They both are good guys. It's not up to little sister to do all that. So, I've removed myself from being that person. And from being the person who, like, if I saw, the brother that I'm close to, if I saw him doing something like drugs or something, I would step in. But trust me, that brother would not do that. But as far as his business is concerned, like, business that's not mine, his marriage, his children, like, not my business, I stay out of things that are not my business. I let it go. Right. Things that, when people hurt me, like, I'm not a grudge holder. I have to say, I'm not a person who holds grudges, mostly because I don't have the memory to remember what they did wrong. So I don't bother, because I won't remember why. But I have a long rope for patience. I didn't used to. I used to be very, very short tempered. And that's something that I've worked at over a long time. And I'm very even keel, and I can, I'll take a lot. But when you get to the end of my rope, that's it. You're done. Right. And I've had some people in recent years who have taken advantage of my good spirit, my good nature, and they didn't recognize it in time, because I was on a quest to help them. And again, I can't help somebody who doesn't want help, and I can't help people who aren't going to take their own steps to help themselves. And so, like, I can't save the world. I was the kind of kid who would bring every stray thing home. I had to rescue everything. And even if I didn't bring them home, like lost dogs would come to our porch. I think they just knew somehow that I would find their owner. One time we had like $2 left to our name. We were just married, and there was this old farmer on the side of the road selling these old pumpkins, and I think it was like November 1st or something. And I just felt so bad for these pumpkins that they didn't get picked and bought, that we used our last $2 to buy pumpkins because I felt sorry for them. Like, that's how ridiculous I can be. So I have to stop that. I had to stop it. I have to stop it. So I will help people. Obviously, I try to really exude divine love, but there is a limit. And I think being a person who loves other people, or tries to provide opportunities for other people as opportunities have been presented to me, there has to be a line, and you have to cut people out of your life who bring you down. So a friend of mine from Facebook that actually lives in my town and believes a lot of the same stuff, made this really great point. Like, butterflies attract other butterflies. And that's absolutely the truth. Like, people with high vibration, people who are sitting on top of that table, they draw each other. And it's really a skill that I am developing and getting better and better at, of knowing who's on the table and who's on the floor trying to pull me down. So I'm much better at cutting people out of my life that don't bring my energy up. And, you know, and making sure that the friends I have are good friends, right? So I'm very loyal. So I think part of my Scottish and English ancestry, that I'm extremely loyal. So for my close friends, I'm totally loyal. I'm totally, I'm there for them all the time. My oldest friend I've known since she's 4. When we were 4. The friends that I've had a long, long time. So I think I am a good friend. I will do anything, for my friends. But I keep that circle close because, I'm outgoing, and I certainly get along with lots and lots of people and stuff like that. But my close friends, the ones that I would, walk through fire for, that circle's really close, because I want to make sure that I'm not overextending my emotional capacity. And generosity and hospitality are one thing, but there is a line you can cross, and I have crossed it. So I'm working actively not to cross that line, to be a gracious person without being a doormat. So let it go, right? Let it go, and let go of the things you're not good at. Like, obviously none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You have to let go of the things you're not perfect at, and just recognize that there are things that you can do to be better, and not every day is going to be the best day. So it's okay. Like, you start fresh tomorrow. You just start each new day. One thing that my mother taught me, which I think is probably one of the best strengths that I have, is to march forward and not to look in the past. And in college, we learned about like 3 types of people. There are people who live in the past, oh, I wish, remember back when, blah, 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 and it was so perfect, and blah, 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 blah. And they live in that past, and they can't kind of come to the present. Then there are people who live right in the present. And then there are people who look to the future. Well, one day I'm gonna, or the dreamers, And so, you want to be a combination of all of those things, but living in the present and marching forward is a whole lot better than trying to fix things in the past you can't fix. So things that you can't change, let them go. That's number 1. Just doing that. If you just do that, that will fix a lot of the negative energy and the low vibrations in your soul. Number 2, I think these are out of order. That was number 1. But number 2 is fill your life with good things, right? Like, that makes so much sense. We know that. If you eat like cookies all day long, you're going to be you're going to have no energy. You're going to feel like crap. Like, fill yourself with good things. Drink water, not soda. Drink water, not beer. Like, this. This is not news to you. Whatever we put into our bodies, that's what we give our bodies to work with. And so they have to work with it. So, and I'm very guilty of this. I've struggled with weight my whole life. In high school, I was on the other end of the spectrum. The nurse at school called my parents, made me go to an anorexia support group because I was using my lunch money to buy Jordache purses. And that was in elementary school, I think. And so I've had weight issues my whole life. I had 2 children in a year. I gained a lot of weight. So I'm constantly working on my weight. And the way that I carry my weight, it's hard to lose it where I have it. I have these really powerful legs, and then like this like dough body, right? You have to just accept what you have and then work toward making it better. And so trying to drink more water, trying to drink less sugary kind of stuff. I was never really a soda drinker, but I drink iced tea, and that has a lot of sugar in it. And then I tried diet tea, which made me very sick because of the fake stuff that they put in it. So, just finding a balance of things. I'm right now I'm trying infused water. We'll see how that goes. So far, it just tastes like weird water. I probably just want water. So fill yourself with good things, but that also means the things around you, right? If you're watching Netflix like morning, noon, and night, or you're listening to podcasts morning, noon, and night, and they're not edifying, they're filling your head and your eyes and your ears with garbage, right? And if the space around you is cluttered and crazy and dirty and smelly or whatever, that's all coming in through your senses. So, you want to make sure that you're filling your time and your space and, what you do in your free time. You want those to be good things that raise your vibration and not things that sort of clutter or block good energy from coming in. And so that's, you want to it ties to the next principle, which is garbage in, garbage out, right? Like, you want to surround yourself with good people, you want to surround yourself with good things, and you want to get rid of the garbage that's in your life. You want to really minimize things that don't serve you a good purpose in getting you to your best self or to your highest good or your highest potential. Those things aren't needed. So like, I've had to take spiritual inventories often of like, do I really need this thing in my life? Does it bring any joy? Am I just holding on to it because of my family, or am I holding on to it because it's what people expect me to do at work, or is it something that people expect me to do in the community? Like, why am I actually doing X, Y, and Z? Let go of those things that you don't need, and fill your life with good things and get rid of the garbage. Really pay attention to especially the media that you're watching. I really got sucked into a recent national trial, and I was not even all that interested in what was going on between the two litigants. I was much more interested in Law Tube, because I thought that was very interesting. Just this whole concept that we could watch an entire trial. And I'm interested in law in a very, I don't know, I would never want to be a lawyer, but I'm interested in law, and I think I would make a good juror, even though I think the jury system is flawed. I think the justice system is flawed. So, my time and energy, like after work, got sucked into this trial. And then I'm like, wow, like I really wasted a lot of time on that. And looking back now, I'm like, wow, I was like watching all the different spins and all the different lawyers that had something to say about it and both sides, and I wanted to hear it. And what a waste of time, right? So, even recently, I've gone down the rabbit hole of filling my life with junk. Today I have made good food choices. I write down what I eat, and that's the plan I'm having. It's sort of the BRG Weight Watchers. Like, I have to write everything down that I've been putting in my mouth, so that it like avoids me like 6 cupcakes. I'm not gonna write that down. So, I haven't had a cupcake, which is good. I try to keep those things out of my house too, but my mother-in-law is very kind to my sons, and they get cupcakes. So fill your life with good things. Surround yourself with things that bring you energy. I don't know what number I'm on, 4 or 5. Be passionate about something. Have things that you care about that will fill your life with good things to do, right? I have hikers that stay at my house during the hiking season, through hikers, section hikers that are doing pieces of the Appalachian Trail. It really brings me a lot of joy. I can't do it every night. I don't do it every night because it is draining and it's a lot of laundry. I have to do a lot of towels. But, really, the spirit of my community, everybody's super supportive in my community. They donate towels. Like, somebody donated a grill. Somebody helped me get a new fire pit because their old one got damaged over the winter. Like people here are super generous, and I love doing it. I do love to take a break from it also, which is a much better balance than I had before. Before, I was like, oh, I have to be open every day. They're really relying on us. Trust me, these hikers will figure it out. There are other places to go, and I like to do it, but I don't want to burn myself out. So I think maybe last year I burned myself out a little bit. So and I burned out my family, because Dave's not a hiker, and he's not. I mean, he likes the hikers and he enjoys them, but he wants nights where he can just sit and watch roadkill and not have to worry about somebody asking for something every 2 minutes. Because it is like sometimes having a yard full of children who need things constantly. So, so having a balance, but I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about the trail. I'm passionate about hiking, passionate about getting non-traditional hikers out on on the trail, people who are older or who are out of shape or who don't have hiking partners, really passionate about people getting out into nature, because I do feel that it's a place where people can connect with whatever spirituality they possess or hold. Very passionate about the Red Cross and the work that the Red Cross does, Girl Scouts, bagpipes. I have a lot of hobbies, right? But I don't have a lot of time for TV. Definitely don't have time to watch national trails. So, pick and choose things that you're passionate about. Focus your time and energy on those things. If you have a dream, I have a dream. I have a few dreams. I've had a bucket list and I've done things on it. I pick about the bucket list. My bucket list items right now, I have two. One is, I would love to go to Scotland for my 50th birthday, which is in October. It's probably not the best time of year to go to Scotland. So, I'm thinking more in the springtime. But I would like to be able to play bagpipes and hike in every place where one of my clans touches. I have DNA in 26 clans and counting. Girls were gifted to neighboring clans so their wars wouldn't start. Yay. Thank you, ancestor women, for making the sacrifice. So, but that was my goal for my 50th birthday. And I've been saving for it, but the pandemic happened, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the place, because I don't want to stay at fancy hotels. I want to stay at with families or hostels, kind of like people do on the trail. And I want to play bagpipes and hike in each one of the areas, which, goes from the highlands down to the border. My most recent relatives were border reavers. So that's one of my bucket list goals. And so I just have to figure it out, right? I just have to sit down, figure it out, and do it, and figure out a time to go and just pull the plug and go. I just need to do it. So that's something I'm looking forward to. My other thing I'm looking forward to is, I love Jeeps, and our $100 Jeep, Dave had a choice. He could hit a deer, hit an oncoming car, or hit a pole in a ditch, and he did the pole and ditch. He was fine, but it did damage our famous $100 Jeep. I'm very committed to not paying car payments. It's a thing, because when I was young, I had a brand new sports car, and it got wrapped around a pole, and it totaled. And when they totaled it, I had to pay $2,000 extra dollars than I got it totaled for, to pay off the loan that I had taken on it. And I thought to myself, you are never doing that again. You are never going to pay payments for a car. So I haven't paid payments for a car. I buy it with cash, and that's it. So nobody has. My favorite Jeep, by the way, is a Rubicon. If you have an extra one laying around, feel free. I will champion it up, put your name on it, whatever. I love Rubicons. So I'm a Jeep lover. So and I want to drive it as a Rubicon. I mean, those things are incredible. Oh, sorry, the Wranglers. Just saying. I could go on and on about Jeeps. But so my goal is to save enough money so that I can buy one for cash, because I don't want to pay a payment on it. But they are the nice ones. They cost something. And Dave's retired. He works at Domino's part-time. It's probably not going to happen, but it's okay. It's a dream. Whatever. I can let go of the fact that I may never get it. But, so those are things that I kind of look forward to. I made sure to do bucket list items for my kids. My one son really wanted to go to the Haunted Mansion. My other son really wanted to go to Boston. This year he wants to go to the Mothman Festival, whatever that is, in West Virginia. We're doing that in September. So I really do think that experiences are much more valuable to me than things, right? So when my parents were dying, they were divorced in separate places. Neither one of them talked about the things they had. In their dying days, they talked about the experiences they had and the people that made their life worthwhile. And so I always tell my kids, you don't have to buy me anything. Have an experience. So, one year for Mother's Day, my kids did a geocaching thing in the house, a scavenger hunt. I think those memories that you make are so much more important. Being with people is so much more important. Pandemic has made that hard because people have COVID and people are trying to prevent getting COVID. So that's made it hard to do in-person experiences, but you can still do experiences with people. And so, my passion really is to be with people and to get to love them and to receive love back. I'm not always great about receiving love back. I'm not good at receiving compliments. I'm working on that. My mom, when I was cleaning out her house, way, way back when my father left, I had come across paperwork from the school district, and it had said that they had wanted me to be tested to go into, I can't remember what it was called now, but like the smart kids, where the smart kids were. What were they called? They didn't call it special ed. That was special ed kids. I think somebody's at my door. Hold on 1 second. False alarm. It was the kitten. And I think sometimes the kitten, like, sort of, I don't know, he's connected to my mom. I'll say that. So anyway, the gifted program, right? So I didn't go into the gifted program. I knew nothing about it. And I have a high IQ, as did my mother. So I asked her about it, and I said, I could have been in classes with my friend Terry, like, why didn't you do this? And she said, I didn't want you to think you were any smarter than other kids. And I think what she really meant, looking back at it today, is that my mom had to leave school early because she had gotten pregnant in high school. And back in the 60s, that wasn't something that, in Pennsylvania where we lived, that, she could do. She had to leave school. There wasn't a choice for her. And she was at number 1 in her class. And so I think there were other reasons why I wasn't encouraged along those lines, that dealt with just, the struggles that she had. So because of that, I was always really bright, but I was always horrible because I was so bored. I catch on pretty quick to things. And so I would be terrible in high school. I was horrible. I misbehaved. I was awful. And, so I think when you look back over your life and you can sort of honestly and carefully assess what's been going on, you can remove sort of the garbage, you can remove the junk, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, you can get rid of it, you can let go of things, and then you can become passionate about the things that bring you joy and peace and contentment, right? But before you can fill your life with good things, you have to make room for it, and by getting rid of the negativity, you get rid of it. And the way you do that is to meditate or pray, or both. I do both. That's like my number 5. You definitely want to think about and make space to think about and pray about the things that are going on in your life. I mean, if you really can't let go of your brother disowning you, like, why can't you let that go? Pray about it, meditate about it, really think about it, write about it, whatever you have to do for you to let it go. Do what it takes, do the work. And I blinked Blair Robertson. He's like a medium, and listen, there are a lot of famous mediums that I think are baloney. He's not one of them. He's also not perfect. He has a bit of a temper and can kind of go on tangents when he's cranky. But overall, I think his messages are correct, and I think they're good, and I think they're mostly accurate. I don't agree about everything, but I think his messages, definitely his mediation work, is accurate, and pretty specific. So it's definitely not stuff that could generally be applied, like that cold calling or whatever they call that stuff. Like, this stuff is so specific that it's impossible that he's just, everybody starts off with your mother, father. I feel that energy because they can only go back so far, right? So the mediums can't go back to, 15 centuries past, right? They can go back to probably like your great-grandfather or maybe your great-great-grandparents, but that's about as far as they can go. So it's going to be somebody with that kind of energy. But anyway, he teaches this meditation, which I've linked, where you just kind of like, it takes 2 seconds and you do this breathing. And it's not like, it's not the om or anything like that. It's just breathing. And then you clear your head and you think of an intention. You do that in the morning. I do it while I make my tea. And the one day when I forgot, it totally threw my day off. But, yesterday was a great day. So the word that came yesterday was the word dream. And I always think that that word is not like the word that my spirit guide means. Like, I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Dream. I mean, David had a nightmare the night before. Maybe it was that. Like, I don't I have to guess. And I think to myself, okay, don't worry about it. It's gonna reveal itself somewhere in the day. So we have a 74 Camaro that is in 5,000 pieces. And my husband loves this show called Roadkill that he watches all the time, and he loves this Roadkill show. And he's been talking more and more, I'd really like to, put the Camaro together. And I'm like, well, then you need to do it. Like, you need to do it. Well, our garage isn't big enough. Our garage stores it, but it's not big enough to do work in. You can't get around the car. And I'm like, well, I'll find you a garage door. And he's like, well, I don't want to spend the money, like blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I'm just going to take care of this for him the other day. And I just put out a feeler, like, does anybody in town have a garage that they are willing to rent that work can be done in it? Because a lot of people will rent garages, but you can't do work in them. This, my husband and his buddies, they're all older guys. They don't drink. They don't smoke pot. Like, they're just a bunch of gear-headed guys, like former bikers, not biker gang bikers, but just biker kind of guys, veterans, like, like these are just guys that wear KISS t-shirts and whatever. And I thought, well, I'll just put it out in the universe and see. And there's this amazing space and these amazing people that live near us. And it came true yesterday. And I thought, that's what the dream meant. That Dave's dream was going to come true. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's not your dream. I like driving that car. I like driving stick. You know how hard it is to find a car that's stick these days? I like driving the Camaro. I call her my cousin. My cousin Bobby Joe lent me her Mustang last year so I could take my boys to the prom. It wasn't stick, but it was very fun to drive. So if he fixes that Camaro, I get to drive it. So it's my dream too, right? But it could also mean like I need to get on my butt, get off my butt and start planning my dream trip to Scotland. Like that also could be. Today's word is success. No idea what that means. I have no idea, but by the end of the day, it will work out. I do it again before bed to sort of set my intentions and my dreams. I don't know if that works because I don't always remember. I don't most of the time don't remember my dreams. So I don't know, but we'll see. So the top 5, let it go. Surround yourself with good things, edifying things. Get rid of all the garbage. Be passionate about something, and pray and meditate. And if you do these 5 things, you will raise your vibration level. And you will be more content. You'll be more satisfied with your life. And you'll be able to think clearly about new things that come to you. So that's my advice for today. Thank you for listening. I promise not to get so long. I feel like I just talk forever and ever, which I do. But hopefully you have a pause button. Or you skip the boring crap. All right. Be well. All the best of light and love to you. Bye-bye.